until after a fair and equitable trial. So now we will be working with the state attorney's office to make sure that we're doing the very best we can at every level of government that helped in this case to bring this case to a conclusion.
One last question. Sheriff, I may ask you again, please. Given the reports that the meter reader did call 3 times in the middle of August about some suspect evidence, potential evidence in the same area, are you looking at the possibility of mistakes and or lapses by your investigators when they went out there or didn't go out there in August?
Well, we had people go out there. We're pulling all the tips. We're totally reviewing it. That's why we have a very professional standards division. We brought that information to you because of a very thorough investigation, and then we'll let all those conclusions be brought forth in the near future. But I will tell you right now, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus because we don't know, and that's why we conduct an administrative review. Okay.
Also, just as we're breaking up here, I want to thank Sheriff Perry, Joyce Dawley, Dr. Jan Garavaglia, Stephen Avison from FBI office, our investigative team. Sheriff-elect Jerry Demings is here also this afternoon. One of the things I also want to say as we close is also one of the all of the hard work that has been done by the teams from the various organizations as well as the prosecution team from the state attorney's office. They're not here this afternoon on stage, but obviously they continue to move forward and do the hard work that they do. Again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
How do we do that?
Thank you.
She's in our shot.
Very significant, not totally shocking. The amount of time the investigators have spent at that scene since last Monday are still she's expecting toxicology reports back, but she doesn't expect to get any definitive information from those reports. Yeah. That's a fairly large percentage
Hey, Amy, really tough news even for the investigators there. You saw the sheriff get teary-eyed when talking about this little girl here at the news conference today. They even put a picture up of Caylee Anthony here behind them as they spoke about this. Now, as you know, Dr. G, very, very definitive that Caylee Anthony was murdered, and if you talk to these investigators, they firmly believe that this was done by her mother, Casey Anthony. You heard a reporter ask if there are any other suspects, if there's anyone else they're looking at, and that was a definitive no, that they firmly believe that Caylee was killed in the hands of her mother. Now, probably the most disturbing part of this news conference here today is that Dr. G said it is possible we may never know how this little girl died. Now, that's not to say that crime scene investigators won't find something that gives them some indication about how Caylee died, but as a scientific aspect or toxicology reports, we just may never know. It's very difficult news, not only for a medical examiner who has worked on this case since the beginning, but also for these investigators who are trying to piece this together. Now, off camera, when you talk to these investigators, the issue for them and what's difficult for them to grasp is that somebody, they believe Casey Anthony, dumped Caylee in the woods in a plastic bag. There's also duct tape in there to let the animals and the elements get to this little girl. Very difficult. We know that some of those bones were found an acre from from where they started. So that means likely the animals had gotten to this skeleton and drug those bones throughout the woods. Not to be too graphic, but that's what these investigators are really having a hard time with. Many of these investigators have children of their own, saying this was a horrible, horrible way for this little girl to go. They are trying to piece these things together at the crime scene. They are telling us they may be finished up by tonight, maybe early afternoon tomorrow at that crime scene, trying to piece this together. And that's what those bones are doing, trying to piece together everything that happened at least that scene. But without the cause of death, it is going to be difficult to try to put this timeline together and also to figure out what happened to this little girl. Mike, Amy.